All right, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is Dot Connect 105. This is one of the rare moments in crypto history where you're starting to see multiple shifts all happen at once. The SEC and the Ripple case is officially over, ending years of this legal warfare. No more continuations to it. It's over. This is removing the biggest cloud over XRP's future. Ripple is absolutely doubling down on the stablecoin dominance. They just had a $200 million acquisition with this company called Rail. So this is about to be huge when it comes to global payments. And they are already a leader. So big dogs buying more big dogs. This is when it gets fun. This is when it gets real. And then also, Ripple is also securing their U.S. banking charter. They got a date in, so we're expected to see that November 29th. Um, and then I got a little gem, a little play for you guys at the end. So without further ado, I'm Champ Bobbitt. This is Steve Bayonne with Skyton Academy, and this is Dot Connect 105. Steve, before I get rolling, man, do you want to talk to him a little bit?
Yeah, I'll just be a voice of practicality real quick. So, guys, listen, today I went out to so I'm in Bogota, Colombia now, the capital. This is where all the money moves. And you could tell there's definitely money out here. I'm seeing cars and sidewalks. So that's two things that show you that there's money. Um, so with that said, as I'm in the wholesale district today, just kind of banging around with different people, I start to realize that the Colombian market for the people who actually speak English, they have a competitive edge and an advantage. So one of the things I've been picking up out here in communicating is I've noticed that a lot of people who went to a lot of Colombians go to Australia for some reason. They just find their way there. But a lot of people also study abroad, going to different cities in America, and this is where they learn how to speak English, and then they kind of bring back the acumen. So I spoke to this one young guy today who owned a factory, manufacturing factory for furniture, and he's just been in it for 5 years. And then I just kind of understood because he spoke English. I was able to go a little bit deeper with him. Like I told you, when the language barrier is there, I can't ask the sort of questions that I learned from. So my growth is really more in energy and just kind of tap and go, right? Just to avoid all the frustration, and not my frustration, but they can get frustrated too when you talk too fast, and even if they know a little bit of English. Anyway, long story short, I'm sitting here designing, custom furniture. This is what I came out here for, to find custom furniture manufacturing. So when you're in smaller emerging markets, it's better to go outside because then nothing looks the same. That's the issue that I'm having in where the resort is at. Is a lot of things look the same. So when you go to restaurants, same chairs, same style, might be different colors. So I expanded a little bit out. So now that I'm in Bogota, I'm seeing this is the fastest business is going to move in Colombia. And I'm still seeing inefficiencies. So I'm gonna give you guys an idea of something that I'm coming up with now. So the biggest thing is when you're walking around the good thing about the neighborhoods is they're all within a 2-3 block radius, right? So when you go to a wholesale district, New York is like this too, champ, right? When you go to the fashion district, it's 38th Street between 7th, 8th, and 9th, and then that's all
Yep.
that. And you'll have your fabrics on one street. Then you'll have your, accessories. It's laid out pretty easy for the showrooms. So it's similar here, but what they don't have is you won't get companies with catalogs, you won't get companies with websites, and they barely have IG, most of these guys, right? So what they're telling me to do is they're telling me, oh, just come with a design and we can do it for you. And I'm like, it that's not really that easy. So I thought of a play today. I said, you know what? Let me set up a website that could funnel everything that they're doing in this area. Right. So I'm just doing lead generation at this point now. If they don't have a website, that means they don't know how to use what? The internet. They don't know how to do what? Geotag.
Yep.
I got a text message when I landed in Medellin on a connecting flight from a restaurant that I ate at. They got my cell phone number through whatever, maybe Plaid or Stripe, something, whatever the processor was.
Yeah.
So the minute they knew I landed in the country, boom, instantly it sent me a text message to my phone. Genius, right? But when I looked up that restaurant group, they're also in Mexico. They're in a bunch of different areas. So they have evolved past a regular local mindset. So when I set up this website, and I could listen, guys, we can do this. And I say we, meaning all of us, we can do this for every industry in Colombia, literally, is set up websites for lead generation. I was involved in this like 10 years ago, but in America, it's so much competition when it comes down to that. You will pay so much money advertising. But in Colombia, nobody's advertising. All the information will flow through you. So when I noticed in Santa Marta, when I was looking for car companies, there's like a mafia out there. every company you contacted that looked like it had a different site, when I went to the WhatsApp, it was the same message. So they had one central location, but it looked like they had several different brands. So you couldn't escape booking with them. So
Wow.
it might just be a central location that's just outsourcing the job. You don't have to own a car. You don't have to own the factory. You don't have to do anything outside of just organizing and then letting all them have access to giving quotes for customers. I never thought I'd be walking into a lead generation magnet. I'm talking about a multi-million-dollar industry right here. They're
Wow.
working with some of the biggest hotels. I went the first factory I went to yesterday. Went on the wall, you could see Nobu, Cabo. They did all the furniture in there. They did most of the newest hotels inside of Miami, some of the top hotels in Bogota, and they had no brochure. They had
Wow.
nothing, no samples to show me. It was the biggest factory that I've seen, and I couldn't see anything from that factory. So I'm sitting here and I'm racking my brain right now because I have to come up with the designs because they don't have that, but they have images of work that they did. And I'm like, that's the catalog, my man. And then
Hmm.
put the customization, the color palettes, and all that. Once I get an idea of what these people, what vendors they're using, I'm gonna put a play together that they haven't seen and it's gonna be beneficial to them. And on top of it, I could even ask for a 10% fee on whatever purchases go through. And I'm talking about these are large orders. These
Easy.
aren't small hotels, right? 90 chairs, 1,000 tables, like that sort of stuff. So once you can control the flow and the organization of it, and I can speak multi languages and effectively using AI to help them kind of organize the whole thing, there's no way I can't pick up several hundreds of thousands of dollars a month just here in one factory location of custom factory in Bogota. Because it's the place that everybody goes throughout Colombia to come source certain things. And I'm watching some of the most talented artisans today. It blew my mind because you cannot find people like that skilled in America, not of that abundance.
Yeah.
20 guys. Then I go upstairs to the second floor and it's fabric, it's women sewing leather on chairs. And I'm talking about detail, bro. Details. And then next door is the fabric sourcing company. So everything is coming at source price. And then they're showing me things made of steel. And I'm like, how much is this? They're like $40. I'm like, what? Yo, pieces literally, you won't find them in America, one, that quality. If you found it, minimum $300. Minimum.
Yo.
I don't want to import anything into America, but I'm just saying, when you look at what they lack here, and I kept trying to rack my brain for the last month, it really is everything that I do here is setting up process for people to be able to, one, effectively make money easier, and then not have to communicate so much. Because when you have to over communicate, I don't even want to work with those people.
Yeah.
If we can't get past the hello and the introduction at the door, then it just shows me that your overall is pretty much inefficient, right?
That's a fact.
So letting them plug into a system that's going to allow them to even build a site, right? And then I control the back end of it for them, letting them even, invoicing, all of that coming down to it. Payment systems, showing them how certain people work on credit and you need to have access to this and not the old way. I'm like, I look at the like 10 verticals on this one website right now and on a 4 or 5 block radius, east, north, west, and south. I'm
Wow.
like, yo, I knew exactly why I flew out here now. Outside of the 4 hours with the family, amazing. But this was it today. Like really sitting with it and looking at, because I got to see factories. I'm
Hmm.
like, how do you run a whole factory? You got an order of, I'm like, how big is that order? They're like, oh, that's seating about 500 people. I'm like, what? No process at all when it comes down to like what the capabilities are. It's just whatever you want. And I'm like, that doesn't work for a lot of clients like that.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Even to the point where I can duplicate everything I found in Bogota. I could open a central location inside of Santa Marta because that's one of the biggest things that Santa Marta doesn't have is the manufacturing piece. So I could literally partner with 3, 4 of these guys, bring sample showroom there, have the infrastructure set up with the website, right? Speaking multiple languages, no issues, and then people just picking and buying. And I could open up every single hotel would have to go through us because everything's looking the same out there.
And you was able to pinpoint all of that. Today, one day.
Within the first 5 minutes. The first guy I went to visit spoke English. And once I connected the dots with him, and he was only 31 years old, I'm like, damn, bro. That's wild because they tend to come older than that. So if he's 31 and he has an IG page, he's as evolved as the industries get if you're not like a big, big company.
Yeah.
So I can make every single one of those small companies look bigger. They just can't handle the front end.
They gotta pay you. Got to. It's nothing. There's nothing that they could do with that.
If that, what's that shit they pass around in church? What's that called?
The collection plate.
Right. Don't put nothing in there if you don't want to.
Straight up.
It
Wow.
will affect the way you do business if you don't link with this site. Period. I'm like, it's the oldest model. I've worked on this like 20 years ago. They have no clue, bro. I'm gonna set up shop in Bogota. So literally, you guys are gonna witness an actual takeover of an infrastructure just to organize. I'm not here to take anybody out of business to do anything, but that Santa Marta piece, I am looking to be that a vendor, a preferred vendor, people that can get things done, people that could effectively, have. They can't even tell you where in the process the stuff is at. They're just working from morning to night.
Which is wild.
And I'm not looking to do this by myself. I'm really looking to just tokenize everything that I do moving forward, giving everybody the ability to be able to own a piece of every vertical that I'm building, because that's just the way that the world's going to work nowadays. So everything we teach you, we're looking to also implement and not just talk about. Right? Because the exact things we're teaching now, 5 years from now, you're going to be like, wow, everybody's doing this right now. And when I talk about first movers position, it's not about investing. It's about actually creating. Because once you have these sort of websites and these sort of verticals, what do you think those companies are worth at this point? And that's all I'm interested in doing right now. Between now and the next probably like 5 till 2030, I'm just going to build tech companies and I'm going to sell infrastructure. That's it. And I'm talking about for tens of millions of dollars, period.
That's what they want. That's exactly what they want. They're lined up giving that type of angel investor capital for no reason. Even if it doesn't flourish, they still want
Exactly. If it doesn't work, Twitter still doesn't post profits.
facts.
It's all viewers. Everything I'm doing is going to post profits and it's going to be efficient for people. But those type of plays, I wouldn't necessarily sell those. Those are like just some good monthly, like we're just flying private to Colombia. Put it that way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The time of having to be here for 3 months to get things. No, I'd come here for 2 weeks, fly back home, fly back, right? Take the whole family, no, nothing, no pressure, just straight $15,000 every trip.
Straight smoke.
On one ride, yeah. There
Nah,
has been nothing that I've never said in life, especially out loud, that's never come to fruition. And even the way I spoke about the resort, that resort closed 2 weeks or how many much weeks ago. But when I was talking about it, I talked in the sense of owning it already. That was it. The only time that was really needed at that point was just to make sure that my family was out of school and we were all able to effectively travel and be able to start it at this particular time. I didn't want to go any sooner than that.
yeah.
On top of closing out business in America. So this is just a public service announcement to let you guys know that when you're seeing all these people moving to emerging markets with the type of know-how and everything that we have and the way that we've been trained in America, this is the competitive advantage. I watched a clip with EYL the other day where they met with it was probably a minister of commerce in Kenya. And Rashad asked a great question, like, listen, if we were to invest in anything in this country, what would you suggest? And all of it went back to the same thing that I've been saying, infrastructure.
Structure.
They don't
Facts.
have machinery. I found this machine online that cuts a coconut in half. I'm talking about it's hard to snap these things. These dudes are still using machetes out here.
Yeah.
It cuts it seconds. It spills into a compartment. It takes all the water out, right? You literally have buckets of water. Now you're filling up a cup, right? They take the cup, they fill it up with coconut water. They take out the inside of the jelly if you want it. They put the jelly in the cup first, then they fill it up with water. Then there's another machine that seals the top, seals it. So you literally can just put a straw in. You're not going to spill this thing. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, what in the archaic? These guys aren't even paying for coconuts. They're free. Coconut water on the beach. Another $1 million idea.
Right at the resort. Luminar to be exact.
But I'm going to go to where the traffic's at. I'm being the heart of the traffic.
Golly.
At Luminar, I'd still like the chopping of the experience. But when you have thousands of people walking by you, go.
Wait.
Grab it.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, you won't even see it cut. It just they'll be already sealed for you because we're not doing anything outside of it. It's just coconut water. I'm telling you, infrastructure. I visited a cosmetic company, a lab today, working on formulations that my wife been doing for years for the family. She creates, we have our own body butter in the house. She creates her own lip balm. We don't buy Jergens and all that water-based lotion stuff. We don't do that. She whips all that stuff up. Big batches, everybody has their own stuff. To a point now when if I don't have that and I go to a place and I have to use a regular lotion, I'm cooked, bro. I can't use water-based stuff on my body. It just won't work.
Yeah.
So with that said, when I go into this factory, I'm watching them formulating things, beauty products. I'm like, this is incredible, scientists. And guess what? I happen to book a trip. Tomorrow starts a 3-day show for the cosmetic industry. So I'm looking for toiletries and all this other stuff. They're going to be in one convention center in Bogota tomorrow. And I leave Friday. So I got a whole day and a half to walk this show.
Wow.
You couldn't plan this any better.
Divine timing right there.
So when I talked about, if you want to call yesterday, you saw me emotional about losing the family. You're not losing the family, but just being away from the family. The upside to it, and is what I didn't say yesterday, was I have all the time in the world that I never had before. Not only to self, but to effectively make these things move effectively quick. And I told Champ, what did I tell you earlier? What was I going to finish before I left to come back home in September?
The AI bot
Yep.
for the academy, and then the other one was the AI Visionaries, not the AI Visionaries, the AI impact report.
So those 2 apps that we talked about, that you heard us talk about before, they're going to be completed in about 3 weeks because of the lack of time that I have with family, because they take up so much when I am home of being of service. Not that I have to, it's just what I choose to do. So I'm excited about this one right here, because I'm telling you, these people are probably, this country is like 10 years behind right now. Bogota is moving a little bit quicker. They've cut deals with China. China's building futuristic rails for them. So it's going to be interconnected pretty quick here. When I tell you that it is ripe for the picking, if anybody is interested in it, you're an Academy member, just send us a message if you have any ideas that would work in an emerging market. Let me be the point person out here for that. But the only thing I ask you is you open it up to all people to be able to benefit off of that. Because if I told you by 2050 that bullshit stat of the net worth of African Americans would be, I'm like, nah, not it's not in our group. Might be that other, that other subset of African Americans, but I don't identify as that.
Straight up. That's that other side, not this one.
Fuck going on in crypto, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, and that wraps Doc Connect Wednesday episode 105.
Nah, you got this. I know you got some stuff today, though. A lot's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we got some heat, man. We got some couple things that's going on. I just wanted to connect a little bit of dots, and then you know, one thing that always rings true in my mind is when I'm kind of navigating through this stuff is like, how can they make some bread? Today was a good day. We just had another all-time high, but I'll get into all that. Um, but I'll go over first things first is a happy moment. It's been a long time, right? For years, Ripple, XRP, SEC, this courtroom battle, all the headlines, all the consistent updates we've been delivering over this time. It's over. It's officially over. Um, and they also walked away with an official designation that nobody has been talking about. And I've been looking, I've been searching high and low. They got the full green light to operate without any distractions, without any restrictions. So I'll walk you through it real quick. So the SEC officially removed Ripple from the bad actor list, right? And it's actually called the bad actor list. This basically labeled Ripple and other companies who kind of go under litigation with the SEC. It removes them from the ability to raise funds, right? And this is super important when you're dealing with emerging tech and companies like Ripple and what they do. It's called Regulation D. This is the pathway that allows companies to be able to raise unlimited amounts of money from big investors without like that whole slow, costly SEC registration process. And then being labeled as a bad actor, that's like having a giant do not do business with sign on your chest, right? So Ripple was able to tear that sign down. They're now able to operate, no issues. I'm gonna give you guys specifics now. So August 7th was the official date. Ripple was hit with the final judgment for the certain institutional XRP sales. They were ordered to pay the 125 million in penalties, and normally that itself would have triggered the automatic bad actor ban. At that point, they wouldn't have been able to proceed and do any additional business. But the very next day, August 8th, the SEC itself signed the order saying that Ripple gets the waiver, meaning that they were not disqualified. They can raise as much capital as they want to. They can partner with institutions and expand without any legal chain around their neck. So that whole lead with enforcement situation, it's all done. It's all over. They now have a clean bill of health when it comes to Ripple for more partnerships, more enterprise adoption, more, which means basically more businesses. You got more confidence in the entire XRP ecosystem. And then the war is just officially over. They paid the fine. The path is clear. It's a regulatory victory. We already knew this was going to happen. This case from the jump, I felt like was BS. It was only to buy time for institutions and the major players to basically get in line and get as much of XRP and whatever rails that they needed to kind of connect to. It just gave them time to be able to do so, and now that's officially done. Now on that same day, right? So I'm super excited. So that's one of those round of applause moments. It's full circle, greatly appreciated. Steve has been in that project as long as I have, and he's actually got super diamond hands because at one point I actually sold some XRP and I definitely had
10
to,
years.
but yeah, he has not sold at all.
No airdrops, no snapshots.
Right. He didn't partake in the smoke. You know what I mean? So I definitely was in the smoke. I was in the trenches getting shot at. But it's just one of those great moments. It's a full circle moment because what we knew back then when we first started, we had conviction in the project. Even when we didn't have formal training, nobody taught us anything. We literally just learned on our own, but we were able to identify a super gem that we knew was going to change the world that we knew, transactions as we knew it. And then now, fast forward 10 years later, here we are, full circle moment. So it's dope to be there. Now, that same day that the case was officially over, this definitely was not a coincidence. So Ripple had an acquisition. This is one of their latest moves in the past week. Right now, Ripple is just on a fire run right now. So they just did excuse me, hold on, let me plug this up so this joint down. My bad. So they just had a fire run right now. $200 million acquisition of a company called Rail. For those of you who do not know, Rail is a stablecoin powered platform, and they're built specifically for global payments. So anytime you think about Ripple, first thing in your mind should always be payments, right? Because they want to move all the money in the world. And they've always kept that same goal since inception. Now, this is the icing on the cake. They basically entered into a strategic partnership with Rail, and the mission is to simply dominate the digital asset infrastructure for stablecoins, right? Rail already has experience with virtual accounts, automated back-end systems. So this is something that Steve is like a genius with. And then seamless stablecoin payment flows that's now going to be folded right into Ripple without no other integration needed. That means faster, compliant, more efficient value in movements for institutions, big dogs, big banks. And Brad Garlinghouse went on to say basically, yes, I'm saying rail. And Brad Garlinghouse went on to say when all of this came to play and we were kind of at the tail end of the litigation, he said 80% of Ripple's customer base is outside of the United States. So imagine what that means. So if their companies that are utilizing Ripple Tech are mostly international and they just partnered with this company called Rail, which is powering global payments, what do you think that means? These guys got 60 licenses already ready to go, right? They are market leading. They are one of the broadest payment networks in the industry. And then Ripple already has the payments connected, making them already a powerhouse, but now it makes them even stronger. This is when they become true juggernauts in the payment space. So the integration with Rail, and it's RAIL for anybody who's wondering. Um, it basically is going to bring enhanced on and off ramps for stablecoins, the ability for clients, which is going to be big institutions, banks, fintechs, etc. It's going to allow them to basically move clients' money in USD and other assets without actually holding crypto on their balance sheets. This is going to streamline the treasury and third-party payments and always on infrastructure that operates 24/7, 365 with one single API. So I'm gonna break this part down because this detail matters. So first, what this does is this validates Ripple's long-term vision. Stablecoins are becoming the cornerstone of the future of finance, modern finance as we know it, right? These institutions master their infrastructure, and it's literally going to control the next era of global movements of money. This is what we need. This is when efficiency and technology form a partnership, a synergy like never before. It's a one-stop shop. It's going to allow regulated connectivity between TradFi, right, traditional banking, and then blockchain networks, super low cost for stablecoins and all other digital assets, and enterprise-grade custody solutions. This is wild. This matters. And I'm going to quote the CEO from Rail. So his name is Banu Kohil, if I'm saying this correctly. He said basically over the last 4 years, Rail built the fastest way to settle business payments internationally using stablecoins. And this year, 2025, Rail is forecasted to process over 10% of the $36 billion global business-to-business stablecoin payments market, right? Ripple shares in that same vision, and they said together, they're excited to bring on innovation to millions of businesses that's going to move this money internationally. So understand, this matters because Ripple is not just building a payments platform. They've already done so. They're the king of cross-border payments. So they basically cementing themselves in the infrastructure layer as the infrastructure layer for stablecoins and cross-border payments. So you got RLUSD, which is Ripple stablecoin. You got XRP, the digital asset that now has clarity. The case is 100% finished. And then you have the XRP ledger, which is where the money and everything is going to flow and move through. Now, Ripple is investing billions of dollars. To date, they've thrown in $3 billion to ensure that the XRP ecosystem itself becomes the default for global stablecoin settlements. So for each and every one of you retail investors out there, everybody in YouTube land watching this, understand that this is another signal in itself to the entire world that Ripple, XRP, and RLUSD, excuse me, aren't just a company. They're not just a cryptocurrency and they're not just a stable coin. They're literally the backbone for institutional money movements. These guys are going to control finance, invisible infrastructure, all money transfers, treasury flows, and cross-border commerce. And now that they just bought Rail and they acquired that company, it's literally going to this is a movie you're watching right now. It's going to accelerate towards a future where the most efficient, compliant, liquid networks are going to win. And Ripple is literally miles ahead of everybody else. So this is not financial advice. I'm just connecting some dots, and I'm super excited for it because right now there are 1,700 NDAs right now with Ripple itself. 1,700. I don't know about you guys, but I've been following closely for years. Any company that has 1,700 NDAs with it is poised to shake up the entire world. Right now, that coin is $3 and some change. The market cap for Ripple just hit a new all-time high. We just had a new all-time high with Bitcoin itself today. Ethereum is poised to break out. I told you guys 2 weeks ago, Ethereum was about 2,900. I said institutional flows is running. Things are about to heat up. There was a couple people who listened. Y'all took heed. And I said this. I wish I would have said this while we were actually on the call and it was recorded. But I would have just basically used it as a I told you so moment. But I don't even like Ethereum. And I'm being 100% transparent. This is my personal view. I don't like Ethereum, but I do understand what's happening right now with institutions, with the ETFs. Trump just signed the executive order when it came to the 401ks, now being able to access non-traditional assets. Hello, cryptocurrency. Hello. That means all this old money, all these old bloomers that have tons of capital sitting on the sidelines, they're literally about to start being able to move it and invest into this asset class. So you're about to see an altcoin season and a parabolic run like never before in your life. This is not hype. This is not hopium. I'm telling you what I know and what I see. All right. So now, just to keep this train moving, there's a countdown that's going on right now, right? And we'll kind of get into more details later, but this particular part I want to get through. So there's another connection point when it comes to Ripple itself, the company. And this is pivotal. So they put in a bid for a United States national banking license. And this isn't just another headline. This is a pivotal moment that's going to literally reshape the future of crypto and traditional finance. Um, the decision is supposed to happen around November 29th this year, 2025. So we're looking at another 2-3 months and we're there. And it's perfectly timed. And this is going to literally change everything. So Ripple basically applied for a national banking license through the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, or the OCC. And they also apply for a Federal Reserve master account through, they have a subsidiary called Standard Custody and Trust Company. All right. Keep that name in mind. Now, the goal is basically to bring RLUSD, which is Ripple stablecoin, under federal oversight, and is going to give it direct access to the United States financial system. I'm pausing so you guys can feel the impact of that. It's going to give them direct access to the United States financial system. If they get approved, which I 100% feel that they will, and I don't think there's going to be no delays, especially with this lawsuit being over, Ripple can operate under both state and federal regulations. This is unprecedented for a crypto native company. It does not happen with anybody else. This shows you right now we're sitting at the most pivotal point in history, and you're witnessing history. You're a part of it right now. We're discussing it, and you guys are actively investing into the company. Some of you got pre-IPO shares. Some of you have XRP, which is the digital asset Ripple, the company, leverages. So you're involved. You're here. I'm proud of you. All right, now, again, this move right here is going to allow Ripple to basically directly compete with traditional banks, offering custody, payments, settlement services, and understand this is a $155 trillion market. Global payments is 155 trillion with a T. Yeah, this is it. So this next part right here didn't surprise me whatsoever. There was some opposition, and I covered this probably on two dot connects ago. So not everyone is cheering for these moves the way you guys can feel this excitement that I'm kind of expressing right now. Back a month ago, it was July 17th. There was five major U.S. banking associations that included the American Bankers Association. Remember that name, right? Or the ABA. They petitioned the OCC to basically delay this approval. And the only reason that they're doing this is because they're panicking. This is what I call panic at the disco. They're scared to death. Crypto firms like Ripple, quote unquote, may not meet fiduciary standards for national trust charters, and granting the license could create regulatory loopholes. This was their reason, right? This is what they are alleging inside these documents that they have basically petitioned to the OCC. Now, the market didn't care about that because the market already knew that this case was already at the tail end. It was about to be over. So the market didn't care about that whatsoever. Just on the news, XRP went up about 3 to 7%, right? It was trading between $2.27 and I think it was like 3.70 at the time. So there was a rally and they didn't care. It was everybody being expressive. And when I say everybody, I mean the retail investors, the big dogs, the institutions. People were starting to pour in capital from financial institutions to the everyday person directly into this project because they can see what's happening. They can see the partnerships. They can see the problem that it solves, right? So all of these things were happening. But I understood why the hate from those five banks. Because what's at stake is if this license gets approved, Ripple is going to be federally recognized and they're going to have a federal position in the banking system. And this is going to be a huge shift in the old way that we all transacted and did business to this new day, this new age. It's going to cement XRP's utility as a bridge asset for payments, which is huge, right? This is going to give more validity to the asset. Two, is going to boost RLUSD's credibility and the adoption, right? It's a incredible stable coin that only institutions are going to have access to as of right now, right? Now, as they have it, this is also going to open the door for Ripple to be able to handle institutional scale transactions with full regulatory backing. That's the key. You waited, and I say you, myself included, you waited for this moment over 10 years, waiting for a company to have regulatory clarity, waiting for institutions to come in, be a part of this. They're bringing massive capital into this market, and you guys have the opportunity of a lifetime to be able to see things before it materializes because you got myself and Steve. Now, I don't want you guys to ever be fully dependent on the information that we put out, right? So it's everybody's job to be able to go out here, find information, validate what we're saying, because we're not just pulling this out the sky, right? We just see things and we're able to connect dots in a way that's unmatched. But you guys have the same power to do the exact same thing. All right. So now that I'm seeing all of these things happening, I had to kind of connect another dot. But remember this, November 29th could absolutely mark a day where Ripple transitions from crypto disruptor to banking powerhouse. And if that announcement is the announcement that's going to change everything, we could be looking at one of the most significant turning points in XRP's history, in crypto history. This is bigger than just one project. This is an entire market, an entire ecosystem being developed maturing, and literally putting banks on notice. They're scared. They're panicking right now. And you guys are able to invest in it. That's real. All right. So, guys, Standard Chartered just announced something today. And as I was going through this list, I realized what I'm about to say is kind of controversial, right? Because you guys know my stance. If you've been rocking with us since the inception, I always told you guys proof of work and proof of stake simply don't work. What that means is Bitcoin, beta test coin, and Ethereum, which is still in beta status, right? They're like meme coins to me, right? They don't really do much, but I do have to be fair in my assessment. I started noticing there was a disparity in the way Bitcoin was moving and the way Ethereum was moving. Normally, when Bitcoin is moving, Ethereum is right behind it, right? I had to be fair. I looked at this chart and I said, how can people make bread off of this? So the news came out today, literally right before the call. There's a new all-time high. I'm like, all right, cool, nice. In my mind, logically, I'm thinking to myself, anybody who purchases anything right now, right? That's in Bitcoin. If it's at $123,000 a coin right now, and you purchased one Bitcoin, you spent 123 grand on one coin, right? And I know it's fluctuating, so it's probably 124 right now. Ain't no telling. All right. I'm on a call, so I'm not looking. But imagine this. People are investing in Bitcoin right now because it's being marketed, right? There's a lot of institutions that's holding it as part of their reserve. There's a lot of talk about Bitcoin itself. So people are getting super excited. But I want to approach this two ways. First things first is always going to be with high logic. If you invested right now $300, it would take for Bitcoin to go to $248,000 for your 300 to turn into 600. Yeah. So that's wild. And I want you guys to truly sit with that because yes, Bitcoin is moving. Bitcoin is going to continue to go up until we have a Black Swan event, right? So it makes no sense for someone to dump a lot of capital into Bitcoin. It's literally being marketed and promoted to you. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just telling you guys what I see from this seat. There are other crypto projects right now that you guys can invest in that are way more beautiful, way more powerful, that have real world utility. They solve real world problems. They are poised to have an exponential run in the upcoming weeks and months. When we say altcoin season, there is one thing you have to figure out: the flow of money into this market. You have always, it's always going to come into a stable coin and it's going to go into Bitcoin, right? So once it goes into Bitcoin, it flows from Bitcoin to what? Ethereum. If Bitcoin just hit a new all-time high, right? There's going to be people who want to take profits. But those people who take profits, they know the game. They know this is not it. It's not over right here. We're about to still see some more upside, in Bitcoin included, right? But how you play this game smart is you go from Bitcoin, Ethereum, large caps to other altcoins. So I started thinking about something and I kept hearing standard, 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 XRP to standard, right? Ripple filed for the master account and that banking charter through their subsidy, standard, custody, and trust. And I'm like, standard, why does this word just keep hitting me in my brain? Like, what is up with this? And then I realized there was a new report that came out. Standard Charter, which is another behemoth in a global banking space, they literally put out a forecast that said Ethereum by the end of 2025 is going to go anywhere from 7,500, and Steve is counting all the way up to 10K. So I'm looking at the chart, and there's a couple things that people have to truly factor in, right? So as you're looking at this, and again, I have to be fair. As you're looking at this, you're starting to see more institutions. You have the Ethereum ETFs, you have the 401k situation, and then you have big banking institutions putting out reports where they have calculated estimates, right? It's still speculation, but I can still see it, right? Now, these guys, of course, they have analysts, they have researchers, they have people who are charting. They are kind of banking on the inflows that they're going to put into these crypto projects. And when you start to kind of look at the numbers, 7,500 to 10K is not far fetched. So I'm gonna walk you guys through a little small gamut, and I'm gonna show you guys how you can actually position yourself just to make some bread off of this play. Because we always want you to eat. We want you to be smart. And again, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is for educational purposes only. Now, Ethereum just got the vote of confidence from one of the biggest names in global banking, that's Standard Charter. So if they're saying 7,500 to 10K by 2025, they earlier reported it was about 4K, right? For 2025. We blew right through that. And I seen that because I'm looking at the chart. I'm looking at how Ethereum is performing relative to Bitcoin. It has went through a year and a half basically of suppression. So even with the ETH ETFs and all that stuff that was going on, I'm looking at this and I'm like, yo, there's a lot of money that's in these companies. And there's a lot of Fortune 100 companies out of the Fortune 500 companies that have billions that are all going to flow through Ethereum, Bitcoin, because of the reserves, but mainly because of Ethereum. And I started thinking, what act just passed that had to do with stablecoins? That was the Genius Act. And then I start thinking, what platform or what ecosystem has a lot of stablecoins that are allowing it to settle on that platform? I said, damn, Ethereum. All right. So even though I ain't like it, I'm not feeling it. The data is the data. I'm starting to see that this is rising institutional demand. You got the approval and the growth for the ETF, the ETH exchange traded funds, the ETFs. You had stablecoin, the act, the Genius Act just passed, and then you had network upgrades that are super needed, right? They're past due, but the upgrades that I'm referring to are about the settlement layer for high value transactions. When I looked at that, I started saying this is the perfect storm for ETH to basically materialize, to be able to run. And when I just seen it 2 weeks ago, I told you guys at 2,900, it was about 2,900 to 3,100 and some change. It was swinging that day, and I seen it, and I said, guys, I cut the recording. I said, you guys pay attention to ETH. It's going to run up. There's a couple people who hit me in the background already saying thank you. Don't thank me. Thank you for executing, right? You guys listen, but you also validated the information yourself before you put your money into it, and you were handsomely rewarded. But that run up is not done. So I'm greatly appreciative for the love, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to make sure everybody understands what's happening and everybody eats. Shout out to my man Dub. So when I start thinking about this for all the retail investors, this is a clear signal, right? The institutions right now are getting in position before this huge run up. The same ETFs, right? Corporate treasuries, hedge funds that everybody once ignored or dismissed. Ethereum right now is literally accumulating quietly on the hush. No big noise about it, no big talk about it. Now, I started asking myself, are our people, Skyton members, are they focused? Are they playing on the same level playing field before this thing fully happens? If you're not, I'm giving you a gem right now. So, pen and pad, hope you guys are paying attention. This is how you guys can literally position yourself. So I'm looking at the core drivers. They're already here. They're already in motion. Stablecoin adoption is growing at record speed. And over 70% of the settlement volume is already running through Ethereum, right? Then we had the regulations, Genius Act. That's the clear way for stablecoin usage. So now everybody can use stablecoins, and they're even able to create their own stablecoins if need be, right? More demand for ETH because if most of the volume is happening on Ethereum, you have to buy ETH to pay gas fees, and that's what secures the network. So there's going to be a greater demand for Ethereum. All right. At the same time, you've got Ethereum layer twos that are starting to scale, and they got protocol upgrades that's happening right now. That's going to make the network cheaper, faster, hopefully, without sacrificing the security behind it, which is going to help retain all of the institutional flows on chain. So, first things first, and I hope you guys got your pen and pad. You're going to decide your entry strategy. You can either do this two ways. You can do a lump sum buy, right? And that takes advantage of the long-term forecast. Or you can do this dollar cost averaging, right? This basically will allow you to smooth out any volatility that happens. Understand this. When I'm telling you guys about these parabolic runs that are set to happen, nothing ever just goes straight up. Understand? It will go up. It will also come down. That's healthy. That's what happens in any market. I don't care if it's stocks, bonds, Forex, it doesn't matter. Crypto, especially. Everything that goes up must come down at some point, right? So if you're going to take advantage of something, you might want to take advantage of it now, but you have two methods you could do so. I personally would recommend dollar cost averaging. That means basically taking a certain amount that you have and making consistent buys. You don't really care. You're not really focusing on the price. You're monitoring the price so that you can annotate your buy-in prices, right? But you're not focused and fixated solely on the price. Example, right now Ethereum is at, I don't know, 3,500, 3,700, whatever the price is right now. I'm probably off, probably super off. Because I haven't looked before this call. Now, let's say, as an example, we're at 4,000, right? Even 4,000. You would buy, let's say you got $1,000 you want to put in. You could put $1,000 while ETH is at 4,000. Let's say ETH then goes to 4,200. You put in another 1,000. Then ETH goes to where it's probably at around today, 45, 4,600, 4,700, something around there, right? You put in another 100. That's what's dollar cost averaging right now. You don't fixate on the price. You're just consistently making buys. Now, when it retraces and it goes down back down to 3,000 or 3,500 or 4,000, you're buying in again. That's consistent buys. And it doesn't matter what price or what project it is. This is dollar cost averaging. It's the same methodology for any single crypto project. All right. So that's going to be your first strategy. You have to determine what your entry strategy is going to be. Now, your second, excuse me, your second thing to do is consider allocating the ETH not as a speculation play, right? I don't want you guys to just feel like it's about to run. I'm just about to put a ton of money in this thing, let it run, and then I'll move my money out to something else. It's not a bad idea, but also understand this is a place that we've never been. We've never had institutions with this type of capital. We've never had a pro crypto president. We've never had these rules and regulations that exist that are all beneficial and they all help the ecosystem in the market of cryptocurrency. So there's so many ways to skin this cat, right? But look at it like this now. If we've never had these type of players here before, and we never had this type of capital coming here before, you can't look at it from the same small lens of the past, especially those who've been with us for multiple years, right? You might see ETH go to 5,000 and then you feel like, all right, let me just sell everything. That's probably not the best strategy because when these guys get to pouring in billions of dollars per company, per institution, per fintech, like you're going to start to see these numbers triple, double, 3x, 10x, 5x, 15x, 20x, 30x. And it's going to be wild, right? So you have to, one, you have to control your emotions, but you have to look at this not from a hype standpoint. but fundamental utility is happening right now. All right. So consider a long-term play with this. Three, do not overlook staking. We tell you guys all the time, do not stake. But we understand that we do not control what you guys do with your investment. We understand that you guys, as you are out here researching, you're going to come across stuff all the time, right? There's going to be things that look super good and you just want to try it, right? We can't stop you. There are security parameters that need to be set whenever you guys are getting into any of these staking protocols and things like that. It's decentralized. So it's a technical skill that kind of comes with this stuff, and you guys gotta understand you have to do your own research. I will never tell you guys to go ahead and stake something unless I'm actively doing it and I've kind of experienced how rough it is, how shaky it is, how secure it is, how safe it is, etc. All right. So do your own research, but that's just another nugget. That's just another gem. Don't overlook staking rewards, especially those who are playing with a different type of bag. If you are just ready to take that risk, you're not risk averse, try it. See where it gets you. All right. Fourth, monitor the ETF flows and anything that has to do with institutional holdings. If you can see sustained multi-billion dollar inflows over weeks or months with a bunch of these companies, that's confirmation and it's playing out. That's your cue to basically increase your position, your exposure. All right. We don't want any of you guys just solely investing in ETFs. You guys have the ability to go right on a cryptocurrency exchange, invest directly into Ethereum, Bitcoin, any of these other crypto projects, right? At will. You guys can do that. So you don't have to bank on anything on the ETF side, but you have to be conscious of it. You have to pay attention. Now, these inflows and all of these things that's happening right now, they're telling a story, right? If you are seeing more bullish sentiment when it comes to any of these governments, any of these fintechs, any of these enterprises, that should be your cue that these guys are accumulating because they either know something is about to happen or they're just trying to plus up their position. So that's a good rule of thumb. If you're paying attention to how big money is moving, you should be doing the exact same thing that the big money is doing because these guys are not in the business of literally losing money. All right. So understand that. Now, last but not least, and then I'm gonna outro and I'm gonna let you guys enjoy the rest of your evening and sit with this information. The biggest risk right now isn't ETH falling short of that 7,500 projection that Standard Custody put out, right? By the end of the year. And keep in mind, we're already in August. These days are passing by like that. The biggest risk is simply being underexposed when that move happens because institutional flows are going to be fast, they're going to be swift, they're going to be heavy, and they're going to leave retail chasing the pump. You never ever want to chase green candles whatsoever. I promise you, you will get wrecked damn near every single time. Rocket just put something in the chat, and you guys can do your own research on this. It's not related to this, but this is I'm gonna make the connection. So Rocket put inside the chat that Stronghold, which is a project that we gave out on Connect Wednesdays for free. You guys didn't pay for this. We just gave it, right? I gave that play when it was a penny, I believe. It's at 30 cent. No, I gave that not a penny. I gave Stronghold, I think when it was like 12 cents, 14 cents, something like that. It's at 30 cents right now. You understand? Everybody who invested back then, whatever they put in, their money doubled. Which brings me back to when I told you guys about investing in Bitcoin. Um, excuse me, Rocket, good looking. And I ain't verifying this, but he said, yeah, nah, Abdul, you slipping, bro. So Stronghold, SHX. That project is a powerhouse. So it's at 3 cents, not 30 cents. And I did give that play out under a penny. It was Rocket got in. I think Rocket was in at ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 4 thousandths of a penny. So I gave it well, well under that price range. All right. So it's still not done running. You guys can do your own research, but this is one of the prime examples that I want you guys to understand. I told you guys if you bought into Bitcoin today and Bitcoin is 125,000 or 124,000, in order for your money to double, it's got to be 250,000. That's insanity. That's pure insanity, right? And I'm not telling you that you can't invest in Bitcoin. You could do whatever it is that you guys want to do. But from Skyton, it doesn't make sense, right? There's other cryptocurrency projects inside the academy that we give out all the time. There's watch lists that we've created. There's plays that we've given on these calls, and they all are super up right now. People have 10x, 15x, 20x, 100x their money, whatever they invested in certain projects. We laid out how you break down a project, what the project does, how you find information, how you find out where to buy it. All of these things are available inside Skyton Academy. So when we tell you guys to get through the courses, this is the reason why we tell you guys to get through them, because a lot of times we kind of cater to the newbie, right? And there's nothing wrong with being a new investor, nothing wrong with it. Everybody has to start somewhere, but we tend to literally kind of comfort everybody. There's a time that is upon us, and it's right now. This is what Steve and I were just talking about before the call started. We're literally about to go into an implementation and an execution phase that's unmatched. And in order to do so, we cannot slow down and coddle all of the new people who are just coming in. We've already done all of the work for you, right? It's all in the courses. Once you get through those courses, there's not one person on this call that has been a part of Skyton Academy. And if I'm lying, put a trash emoji in the comments. If I'm telling 100% truth, hit it with a whole bunch of fire emojis. Everybody who has went through these courses, once they got through the courses, they had a greater understanding of cryptocurrency as a whole. And once they completed that step, they were ready for the 1%. They were ready for that next level of information because now they knew exactly what to do, what to look for, how to access it, how to be able to invest in it, how to find partnerships, etc. We've been killing this stuff for the longest, and I'm patting ourselves on the back because we put in a lot of work. But now it's about the time that we take it to a whole nother height. So when I'm giving you guys plays like this, I'm trying to help you guys plus up your bag, your bread, and then you could take your bread and reinvest it into other projects that are going to scale and they're going to take you way further than what you're being marketed, Bitcoin and Ethereum. All right. So use this as a simple play, right? Pay attention, see everybody that's moving and putting bread into Ethereum, into these ETFs. Watch how the inflows are happening and make sure you're early. You're in position early. Do not wait for these things to happen. Get in now. I'm telling you guys early, not financial advice. This is for educational purposes only. Now, I'm done for the night. I've got some crypto and tins that I'm about to cook up. I got some more work that I'm going to do for every single one of the members. You guys are about to, and this is for newbies, this is for the seasoned vets. You're about to get value in a lot of these crypto and tins that Steve and I are about to blitz. So we're about to knock these out. Now that the week is done, right? We're able to record them and actually upload them. So they'll be knocked out. You guys will have access to them. Everybody who is a Skyton Academy member. For all of you who are watching in YouTube land right now, if you are not a part of Skyton Academy, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. Right now, we've got a trial membership. It's $1 for your first month. $1. Now, I don't care who it is. Somebody in this chat right now, please tell me the value that you guys are getting, is it not worth the dollar? Can I get a thumbs up? Can I get a fire emoji? Can I get a something? Cool. I just wanted to check and make sure I wasn't bugging out. Angela, we on the same page? We out eye? That's what I'm talking about. So look, we're gonna be here delivering, but we're about to turn it up a couple notches. So understand, it's not that we're leaving the newbie. We need more people to come in. This is why we urge you guys to come in to Skyton Academy, get through the courses, get the value, understand what's happening, get the reinforcement on the calls from Tuesday and on Dot Connects. This is gonna fine tune your skill level and your skill set, and to be able to understand information as it's being disseminated to you. And then bring somebody else with you. That's it. Now we understand cryptocurrency is one of those things. People are fearful, people are shaky. But if you took the time to get right, understand that it's going to be the same play for the next person. I don't care if it's your aunt, your uncle, your cousin, your niece, nephew, your children. It doesn't matter. Everybody is going to be utilizing cryptocurrency and blockchain technology at some shape, form, or fashion, along with artificial intelligence, all of which are included inside Skyton Academy. So, right now, guys, we're standing literally on the edge of a financial transformation where all of the old barriers are breaking down, new doors are opening left and right. And for those that are ready to kind of step through, this is your moment, right? Today I covered just a couple dots of what Ripple was doing. Gave you guys the play of how you guys can benefit from news like this. The tide is literally turning in your favor. But those who get in position early, those are the ones who reap the biggest benefit. So now I'm gonna leave you guys with this. The question is, do you feel like there's a change coming? Or are we still stuck in the old ways, the old traditional banking? We're still going to be using these old systems from here on out. If you responded, there's going to be a change that's coming. Understand you got a front row seat and you guys are right here watching it happen, but you're taking action. You're taking charge. So I want you guys to understand this is history in the making. And you guys are changing your own lives. You're changing your own family's lives. This is not hype. This is certainty. This is an industry that is maturing right in front of our faces. And this is all happening before the rest of the world actually catches on. This is why Skyton Academy is super important. Nobody does what we do, how we do it. Nobody cares about the people the way we do. Nobody's going to continue to elevate and hold ourselves accountable so that we can keep excelling and keep lapping everybody else. We're not worried about what nobody else is doing. We only want our people to eat. So if you're a part of Skyton Academy, greatly appreciate you. There wouldn't be a us without you guys. If you're looking for a home, you're welcome to join. All you guys got to do is hit skytonacademy.com. At checkout, you're going to enter 49 off IG, well, excuse me, 49 off YT. All right, because you guys are going to be watching this on YouTube. So use that promo code and your first month is going to be $1. All right. So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for staying locked in. This has been Dot Connect Wednesdays, episode 105. You know what I mean? Give yourself a round of applause for getting this revolutionary information. You know what I mean? I'm proud of every single one of y'all. And as always, stay dangerous, stay profitable, keep your crypto cold, and we'll see you on the next one. Dot Connect Wednesdays 105 out. Appreciate y'all. Rocket. I hope Rocket's still on this call. And I'm about to look for it myself. Give me 1 second, y'all.
No, I'm looking for your post in the Discord. I mean, in the website right now. You have posted that. I think even in Discord days.
Yeah, that joint was old, but I don't even I got rid of my Discord.
Yeah, yeah. I think you might have posted it in the academy. I literally was looking for it right now. I'm like going through the spot channels and everything to see when you posted it. I know you posted Velos in there. I found Velos, which
Mhm.
that's running right now pretty good too. But I'm trying to find exactly when you called it. But you called that joint a minute ago and it's running right now. All time high is 5 cent, but it's like it just hit three. It pulled back a little bit at 2.9, but it just hit three while we was on the call.
Where is that bad boy at? And it's wild. I think when I gave it, think when I gave it, we did have Discord. I'm trying to find it now.
Yeah, it was this. I remember it was Discord, but I'm trying to find it on the Academy. But I remember it was Discord.
Yo, who made money with that play? I'm just
Shit,
curious.
you know I did. I think
If
Wayne
you
dropped
made
it
if
in
you
there.
made money with that play, drop a fire emoji in the chat. I just kind of want to see something. And I don't care how much you made, it don't matter. I just want to know if you made bread on that play. Zoe, you already know. Dante got in at 0.007. Lit,
See, told you.
lit. Yeah, nah, that's wild. When I was looking at it, I'm like, and I think ETH right now, I think ETH is like 4,600, 47. Hold on, let me say, I think ETH like 4,700 right now.
Yeah, 4750.
Yeah, bro. So we never, and this is just a little added. I'm just sprinkling this on top. So we never ever have been at this market cap ever. Like we've never been here. The cryptocurrency market right now is at 4.17 trillion. We've never been here before. So this is a new all-time high. When I tell y'all, I probably should have kept this part on record, right? But I'm kind of tired of talking. 4.17 trillion, we've never been there ever, right? This is a new space. Understand you got Trump just signed an executive order, and I covered this last week. If you guys weren't on that call, please go back and watch it. I dropped so many gems in that call. When he signed that executive order, the boomers, the older generation that has a lot of capital, they had a lot of assets. They have a lot of stocks, a lot of bonds, a lot of commodities. They have stock exposure. It's called old wealth, old money. They have a lot of bread that's coming right here in the crypto. You guys are about to see some shit that you've never seen before. And I promise you, I'm not hyping you. I'm looking at the data. I'm looking at the stuff. For me, of all people, to tell you that ETH itself, something that I do not like, is a play. I'm telling you guys, this thing is about to run. When I looked at the chart, it's a imagine this. I'm gonna use this analogy, right? Imagine you're watching a football game, right? There's a wide receiver. There's nobody guarding him. Everybody thinks it's a run play. He's 60 yards downfield. You throw the perfect spiral and he catches it. What's that? A reception and a touchdown. This is exactly what I just gave y'all tonight. When I'm looking at ETH, I'm like, yo, I do not like this project. Is so many inefficiencies that come with this thing. But for whatever reason, and I know what it is, for whatever reason, it's the institutions. They love smart contracts. Ethereum is a smart contract platform, right? It needs to be integrated with, of course, your EVM sidechains, which is Ripple and the XRP ledger, etc. Right? It has to be integrated with other ecosystems, but that's the plan: interoperability with everybody. That's the biggest plan right now. So they want all ecosystems to be able to connect. They're trying to make it super simple. So if Lawanda wanted to send Money Mike $1 million, you could do it instantaneously. If Dash wanted to send Milk 100,000 from ETH to the XRP ledger, snap. Like that fast. This is how money is going to start moving. So when I start telling you guys about these big moves with these ETFs and these institutional players, these guys are playing with billions of dollars. So when you start looking at market cap and the value of certain projects and stuff like that, they're moving this money rapidly into these ecosystems. So you're going to start to see these projects that's 5 cent, they're going to start turning into 50 cent, $1, $2, $5. And in your mind, it's going to be hard to wrap your mind around it. Like, that's not a lot of money. But think about it. When you put $100 into something and it's 6 thousandths of a penny, and then it goes to $5, you're making 1,000% gains. your money is going up thousands of percentages. That's how these guys play it. So if you're really gonna play this game, play it right, but get through the courses. I know there's a lot of new people that are joining us, and this is the most beautiful time ever to get into the space. But you will get tricked out your spot if you're not paying attention, if you don't get through these courses, because we put extra care in the courses so that you guys don't see these market prices just go crazy, and you just start throwing random money at random projects, thinking everything is just going to go up. That's not going to be the case. This bull run is going to be a little different because we never had institutions that had this type of bread. Like, never. Um, Vincent, send you might be using a wrong email. I think I replied to you, but just do me a favor and forward that email. I'll make sure you're taken care of. I'll actually answer it tonight. Question while I have you guys, because I know this call has new people and it has people that aren't members. If you right now are a member of Skyton Academy and you do not have access to get into a course that you're trying to get into, send an email to skytonhelp@gmail.com. If you're having any problems, that's where I'm going to take care of you guys. I'm going to personally be the one responding to you, and I'm going to take care of you guys. So that problem will be nipped in the bud. But 9 times out of 10, Vincent, you might be using the incorrect email address. You might have fat fingered it when you purchased it. Whatever the case is, I'll solve it. Just send an email. I got you. Um,
Hey Champ, I got one question. So with this bull run coming up, I know XRP mixed the last one and the 2017 one, it ran up something crazy like 600%.
nah,
Um,
in a bull run, XRP went up 36,800% in
all
a
right,
span of
so
I think it was a couple days, but overall over the month, it was 36,800 and some change in percentage gains.
yeah, see some wild shit. So do you think we'll see something similar like that since we missed the 2021 bull run with XRP specifically because of the lawsuit? And then, since we've seen what happened when they pump faked that little S1 and how that, and then with ETFs and everything, we know that'll go crazy. But I do think that, XRP, I mean, sorry, Ethereum might run up to like 7, 8, 9 bands. Do you think that a lot of that, when it's all said and done, will flow into Zenfin via the Dassel bridge because it can take all of those projects kind of prepared for that? Or you think just Ethereum might end up being the one, they might just like end up fixing it and making it more compatible? Or do you think this is just like for this little pump fake?
So, Rocket, I always want you to remember what call we're on.
Oh yeah, my bad, my bad,
No, no, no,
my
you
bad.
good. I know you're inquisitive. You're asking the right questions. There's nothing wrong with the question you're asking. You're just asking on the wrong platform. But I'm a edify it, right? Because we're not recording. So everybody just about to get a gym. So essentially, when you have a project like that, right? The project itself is they're both powerhouses, right? In their own right. There's a lot of volume that goes on to Ethereum, and then there's a shit ton of volume that goes on to the other one, right? Now, the other one is already ready to go. It's already compliant. It already has the standard. It has everything that it needs, right? There's no upgrade that's needed whatsoever. Ethereum is the one that has the upgrade that's needed. Now, this is a standard part of operating business. You have institutional guys who are ready to put money into these projects, right? Into these ecosystems. If they already have the volume, the people are already there. That's half the battle, right? So that's why they lean towards that. Now, you have billions of dollars per institution that these guys are ready to start allocating. The problem is, can it scale? Ethereum's response to that is right now, they're already doing the upgrade. I forgot what it's called, uh, Kazas or something like that. I'm probably butchering the name, but they're already doing the upgrade to the ecosystem for it, right? To solve that problem. So the institutions are not going to migrate until it's a situation where Ethereum can't deliver on one of those upgrades. Then that's when you get into the utility bull run. That's the part that you're talking about, right? So the exciting part for us, everybody that's in the 1%, that's the part where you start to get the utility bull run because they're going to start to see, they already see it. These institutions, they're not dumb. They're not blind to it, right? They were waiting a long time for XRP to kind of maneuver. They kept it suppressed. but it kept making partnership after partnership. XRP ledger updates, XLS 10, XLS 20, XLS 30D. Like all of these advancements kept happening and it kept proving institutions are in the right place, right? Now Ethereum has the opportunity to do the same thing. They have to prove it because the institutions are already there. So if they cannot prove it, you're going to start to see a mass migration, but they're not going to leave empty-handed. They're going to get their bread. They're going to run this thing up, even if they have to do it by manipulating it, dumping tons of capital into it. They don't care about the little bread that, I got, that Milton got, that Dash got, that Money Mike got. They don't care about that, right? So if you make millions off of it, they're not thinking about you. They're only thinking about their project, right? And what they hold. That's why they buy such big, large positions. They're gonna run it up. Once they run it up, it's gonna come a point, and then you're gonna see a mass migration. They're gonna get up out of that joint. They're gonna dump on everybody, and that's probably when you're gonna get the Black Swan event. Because I think what's gonna happen is it's gonna be a domino situation. Everything is gonna look super good, super on the upside. Everybody gonna be excited. Ton of money that's coming in here. It looks great. Everybody's celebrating. They're like, oh, now they're giving Trump his praise because he's the crypto president, right? Everything just looks perfect. But that's a perfect world. Last time I checked, this ain't a perfect world. So once that thing go up, what's gonna happen? It's gonna come right back down. This is why people are going to have to be prepared. You have to be prepared. You have to get in, seize your opportunities, take your profits if you need to, right? At least if you're gonna play with anything, play with house money. You could take your initial investment out once that thing run up and double, take your bread out. Have some bread on the sidelines. And I'm not telling you to take all of it out because that is a taxable event. But if you're not thinking about taxes, you're thinking about wealth and playing a strategy game, you let it run up, take your profits. When it comes back down, you go back into it or you go back into other projects because the cycle is, like I told you, Bitcoin, Ethereum, large cap alts, and then it's going to be micro caps and smaller caps. So y'all right now, y'all getting super gems right now. Like this is the strategy talk that this is like 1% stuff. So Rocket, you asked the question, and I just because I'm in the mood, I'm giving smoke. Somebody corrected me too in a Petra. That might be it. That might be it. I hate when I can't remember something off kill. Um, Fusaka. Fusaka is what is how you pronounce it. That's the next upgrade that Ethereum is doing. And I've actually dropped a link for y'all. Yeah, it's called Fusaka. And that's the link for it. You guys can just do some research with that. Just kind of click on it, read the article, and it'll kind of give you guys the upgrade timeline. And that's Q4. So that's happening now. That's about to start. Petra was DU was spot on, but that was May. That already happened. Um yeah, that already
Nah,
happened.
I asked the question. I appreciate you. Even though with the type of call we on, and to the rest of y'all welcome. Because if y'all realize what Champ just dropped, hey, y'all better get off this call and start looking up stuff, man. Because he just dropped some fire. But nah, I appreciate you always, family. Big
Yeah,
love.
you know the vibes, man. I'm glad you ate too, man. And you listen, because you was one of them ones. I hate to put you on blast, but Rocket, like Rock, this is my guy. So Rocket listened when I gave the Ethereum play, and Ethereum was about 2,900. I told everybody to eat. I said, yo, get right. He was one of them ones. He executed. He didn't even think twice. He did what he needed to do. He executed. Now he up. We have 4,700 today. And I just gave y'all more insight. 7,500. Steve was calling for 10K. You know what I mean? Steve might have charted. He might have seen something that I don't see, right? I don't doubt it whatsoever. And I don't doubt that Bitcoin is going to run to fucking, excuse my language, probably 250,000, 300,000. I can see it. You know what I mean? I'm not hating it. I'm not doubting it. I just don't like the projects because I know what they do and don't do. I know when Bitcoin was first created, it had so many vulnerabilities that have never been corrected since the beginning of time, since it was created. I know that there's not ever going to be a company that doesn't have a CEO that doesn't have a creator. This is why we gave you guys the breakdown of who created Bitcoin, who's behind Bitcoin, right? This is why I always tell y'all beta test coin, BTC, beta test coin. I say that on purpose. It was a beta test. It was literally a psychological experiment to see who would be able and willing to adopt a digital asset, a digital currency, right? Everybody is marketing this thing. Everybody's trying to build around it. The industry is emerging, right? At one point in time, you're going to see what's called a Trojan horse scenario. The Trojan horse scenario, the first one out the gate was Bitcoin, right? Think about what's your favorite in the chat. What's your favorite running shoe? It's branding for sports, period. But what's your favorite running shoe, brand wise? Right, Nike, right? Nike is the answer I was looking for. Now there are other ones that are better. That's the key point. The Hoka joints, 10 million times better. Nike has brand notoriety. What does Bitcoin have? Bitcoin has brand notoriety. You were marketed Bitcoin. Now, what is the coin that I always tell you guys about, that we always tell you guys about, that has immense partnerships? It's always running. It's always doing what it's supposed to do. XRP, right? It's never failed. This thing has been running, but it's been consistent. The partnerships, the acquisitions, you've never seen moves made like this. We were just talking about the CEO, Brad Garlinghouse, before the call. You've never seen a guy with more charisma, more outside of me, of course. But this guy is just different when it comes to like being a CEO. Like he really quarterbacks that brand. He's never flustered. He's always upright. He's personable, right? He's relatable, and he's a truth teller. He's telling you guys the truth, and he's never been about separating good from bad in the space. And when I say good from bad, I mean Bitcoin from XRP, right? He does that on purpose, right? He is uh um he's like a signal in itself, right? He's the guy to watch. How coincidental would it be that you have this type of powerful person leading the pack for Ripple, the company that leverages XRP, the digital asset, but you can't find who were the 5 creators for Bitcoin, right? You can't. There's no documentation that says it whatsoever. You only had to be in the space long enough to know Hal Feeney and some of the other guys, right? The you had David Schwartz, who's Ripple CTO, right? It's people like that who was around from the Bitcoin's inception, right?
Jeb
That helped.
McCaleb,
Jeb McCaleb, absolutely. He's the CEO for Stellar. Hal Feeney, um,
Arthur, I think too, right? Arthur Brittle, was
Arthur
it?
Brito, and then you had Arthur Brito. I can't remember who's the 5th person. It'll come to me. But it's not one person. There was a group of 5 that originally created Bitcoin, and they worked for the NSA. NSA code is what gave you Bitcoin, right? And that all that shit is about to be cracked by quantum computing, right? So I'm just telling you that there's going to come a moment in time where there's a Trojan horse. The Trojan horse is Bitcoin. What's inside the Trojan horse is the true warriors. That's XRP, right? That's my personal opinion. I stand on it. Can't nobody ever take me off that square. I've been a firm believer since 2015 when I first invested. I put my money where my mouth is. I lost 100,000 XRP. Right now, that is valued over 400K. Right now, I lost it moving around in this ecosystem, in this space. So imagine my affinity when I can still talk to you guys about it, tell you about it, still invest in it to this day. I don't care if it's $10, $20. I believe in it that much. I show you guys by demonstration. Every week I show up and I give you guys facts, insight of why I believe, not just that coin, but just period, why I believe in this ecosystem. It's just that coin is just it's a shining star. You can't avoid it. It's nothing you could do. Everywhere you look, every news outlet, everywhere you turn, you're gonna see something about XRP or Ripple, the company. And they're not promoting this. They're not broadcasting. They're not marketing this to you. They just now started putting out commercials, truth be told. Just now. So that's one of those things people gotta like really start thinking about. but definitely y'all need to be in the 1%. Y'all just got some smoke tonight. Y'all
Hey,
definitely got some smoke tonight.
I'm gonna hop down just in case anybody else got another question, but I don't mind you putting me on the spot in the beginning of what you said because I wouldn't be on the spot if it wasn't for y'all boys. So I appreciate it. But you see how you said I listen, right? This is not financial advice and all that good stuff they say on YouTube. But when these boys put out something, man, just listen. You know what I'm saying? Like you guys paying for the memberships, you guys going through the courses. These they doing their research. They're not just putting stuff out there, because this is just keeping it real. If they put stuff out there and all of them was just losing, they'll lose validation. You know what I'm saying? And it wouldn't, it don't look good on them. Not only do they know they have time in market, they know what they're talking about, but Champ got a little gift for these spots, man. He know how to find these joints because it hasn't been one that I have gotten into since he's made the channel. Even back in Discord, he would drop random spots here and there. There isn't one that I'm down on, not one. There's some that ran more than others, maybe in a faster, longer time frame. But just given all this time, every single spot is up. And you guys got to remember, him and Steve got time in market. If you want to trade and try to make some quick money tomorrow or the next day in futures or on meme coins, then you got to time the market. But you want to be wealthy, you need time in market, and that's what these dudes provide. So just pay attention to what these dudes tell you, and if they dropping some heat and they throwing a gem in there or a little spot in here, regardless, it's a couple dollars, whatever you can, throw it in there because in the long term, they're gonna pay off. Just as long as you hold on, they're gonna pay off. Appreciate you, champ. Big love to everybody.
Big love. Yo, and what I just realized, shout out. So, first things first, let me pause real quick. So, I stopped the recording, but we're live still on YouTube, right? So, first and foremost, I want to shout out Mr. Groves, my dog Jay. Appreciate the support, appreciate the love. Um, we hit the goal. Shout out to Jackie. Appreciate the contribution. Appreciate the support. And the chat over here been going crazy. I appreciate y'all. Sorry, I can't see multiple screens as I'm, talking to the Zoom. So I'm live on Zoom. You guys are watching this on YouTube. So I definitely want to shout out those people who supported the cause. You guys contributed. You put money up for us just to show your support, and we greatly appreciate y'all. We're gonna keep delivering, man. It's never just about the bread, but we glad that you guys find value in what we delivering, and we gonna keep doing the same. Now there was a question that was asked. I think metal right now is like 46 cents. I have to look at it. I like metal blockchain. Um, I do like what they do. Because they run enterprise blockchain deployments, fast transaction processing, decentralized apps like HBAR, and they use the Snow protocol, which is super dope because they support multiple subchains. So I actually like it. The ticker is called Metal. For everybody that's on this call, you never heard of it. It's called Metal. Metal is a blockchain. You guys can look that up. It's a coin market cap as well. METAL. It's like 46 cents. It's a layer zero solution for fintechs and banks, financial institutions, and stuff like that. Um, Digital identity, it deals with that. I'm not a big fan of that aspect, but that's where the world is going to. It's something that we can't stop. So I like the fact that it is compliant. They got some big banking partners. Um, they rock with Temenos, Fiserv, Clover. Who else? I think some of the banking partners, they had Keypoint, they had Green State Credit Union, Excite. Who else? Is a ton. And I think their website, I think the website was like metalblockchain.org or something like that. It's a good play. I like it, just to answer your question. And I'm answering this because of such a large contribution. You know what I mean? We greatly appreciate that. That's love right there. Shout out to Iceberg. Iceberg, thank you for that. Appreciate that. Yeah, man. Y'all keep it coming. We're gonna keep delivering and doing what we do. But I'm about to get out of here for the night so you guys can enjoy the rest of the night. But I do want you guys sincerely, if you are looking for a home for cryptocurrency, I promise you we're about to turn it up to new heights, new levels. Steve is in Colombia right now. He's working, he's getting things done. I'm here in the United States right now. And We've made everything super simple for every single one of the beginners. So if you don't know anything about cryptocurrency and what I've been talking about tonight kind of sounds like Spanish or it's just over your head, a lot of people say it sounds like Japanese. Listen, we made it super easy to understand. All the foundational information you need. And right now, you guys can get access to it for $1 for your first month. All right. So tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Nobody does it like Skyton. And you guys have found your home. All right. SkytonAcademy.com and enter 49 off YT at checkout. And that's for your dollar. All right. Greatly appreciate y'all. Love y'all. I'll definitely see y'all next week. All right. Same time, same place. Let's get it.